guys, today we'll be going over the Savage Axis trigger from MCarbo. This is the package it's going to come in. So let's open it up and see what we got. First thing you'll see is install instructions. It's going to show an exploded view of all the components. And then next we have the trigger itself in the kit. Included in the kit is going to be this set screw adjustment fixture. So we'll use that to set the set screws up for the right set screw location so that the trigger functions properly. Here's the safety blade and the M CARBO Flat Trigger itself. In this other bag we have all the set screws and springs and tools that will be needed. We have the trigger return spring, our safety button set screw spring, our safety blade set screw, our safety blade spring, 2 Allen keys provided, and our over travel set screw, and our sear sketcher with the 2 shims. So let's go ahead and start this install. We recommend that you use blue Loctite and this 4mm Allen key to do the install. We will have the trigger set into the fixture like this. Make sure it's completely flat down so that the set screws can hit where they're supposed to. We'll start with the sear set screw, the smaller one, and for this we'll use the smaller hex key. Put that in there with a dab of blue Loctite so that they don't run out on you after install. We'll just apply that all around it and put it into this front set screw hole. We're going to screw it in until it hits that wall on the fixture so you get a nice little snug, and then back it out just a little bit so it's not too tight in there. And then next you can just go down the line with the set screws. You'll see that there's a set screw hole up here, set screw hole down here, and then for the over travel set screw in the back there. So we'll get these 2. These are going to be the exact same size and thread, so it's alright if you mix them up because they'll be the same ones. Alright, so we'll apply Loctite to the safety blade set screw. Get it all over as much as possible. And go ahead from the top and thread it in until it hits this wall on the fixture right down here. It's alright if some Loctite gets overflowing, we'll clean that up at the end. So we'll go until it hits the wall and then back it out just a little bit. Then we'll take this other set screw that's identical to the safety blade set screw, put it in through the bottom. This is going to make sure that the safety feature works properly. So go ahead and put that in through the bottom till it hits that wall. Then we'll back it out just a little bit. And now for the over travel set screw. We're going to use this bigger hex key. Throw some Loctite on it. Only the bottom threads will be engaging inside the trigger, so we don't need to put it on the whole set screw for this one. And we'll go ahead and thread it through until it hits that wall. Alright, once it hits it, we'll put it snug and then back it off just a little bit. There are these 2 little holes that we can use our Allen keys to pry them out if it gets too stuck. And then bam, set our fixture aside, and there we have it. That's what the set screw locations are going to look like. So now that we have that done, we can go ahead and get our springs out. We have our trigger return spring. This one's going to go around this set screw like this. And then we have our safety blade set screw, which is going to go on this bottom set screw here. It's going to wrap around this post of the set screw, or the safety blade. So we're going to attach these like that, and there you have it, just like that. So now we have that set up, we're going to set this aside and remove the stock trigger from the Savage Axis. So we have our Savage Axis here. First things first, check to make sure that the gun is clear and that there's nothing in the magazine well. So we can go ahead and close the bolt up. And to remove the stock from the barrel, we're going to take out these 2 screws here. You'll see that the screws are 2 different sizes. The longer one's going to be closer to the trigger, and the shorter one's going to be on the other side of the mag well here. So now that we have the 2 screws removed, we can take off the stock and put it to the side. And here is the trigger. If you can see, it's got this little C-clamp on it that we're going to need to remove. So that's going to be the first thing. We're going to open the bolt so that there's no tension on the sear and the trigger. And to do that, we could use a hex key or Allen wrench and kind of help pry that off. Kind of clamp it down with one side of your finger and just use that other side to, there we go. Be careful, this thing will fly out if you're not holding on to it. So now that we have that removed, we can go ahead and press down a little bit to remove the tension to push out the pin in the trigger. Now that we have that removed, the trigger can be removed. You'll see that it has this spring and these set screws in the back for the safety blade, or for the safety feature, but we don't need that anymore. All right, so now we can go ahead and put the trigger in. We also include these trigger shims that go on both sides of the trigger like this, so that when you put it in, if the trigger's too wobbly, you can add these shims so that it tightens it up a little bit so that you don't get that wobble. But for right now, I'll just add the trigger in without it because this one's already tight enough. You want to make sure that this back spring is also retained inside this little hole inside the trigger housing so that it doesn't slide anywhere. And then use your 2 fingers to kind of guide the holes into the proper spot so that this pin can go right through them. So now that we have the pin in and our set screws are set up, we want to make sure that the safety feature still works on it. So we have the safety back, trigger's going, it can't go. Put the safety back off and the trigger will work. Perfect. One more time, we'll put the safety on. Trigger won't go. We'll push the safety off and it's back to normal. So something important to note, so adjusting your set screw will change the position of your safety set screw. These 2 are directly correlated with each other's position. If you adjust it too much without loosening this up, then your safety could be blocked and now your gun can't go into safe. So if you adjust this to lighten up your trigger pull, you want to adjust this to loosen this up so that your safety will still clear the set screw so that it can be safe. And to do this, it's better to loosen this up, turn your safety on, and then tighten it. If you look underneath, you can see when it's about to hit, depending on your sear set screw's position. So you want to adjust that to right above it, wait till it hits, and then back it up just a little bit. So now when your set screw for your sear is set, your safety will always work no matter what. So now that we have the trigger in, we're going to put the C-clamp. So what I usually do is go from this side and use my tool again and kind of just punch it in. There you go. Now that it's caught on, the trigger's not going anywhere. So we can close the bolt back up and go ahead and put the stock back on. So grab your stock. There's going to be this little lug here that's going to line up right in this slot here, if you can see. So we're going to line that up as we're putting it on top. Kind of like wiggle it back and forth just to make sure that you feel it in there. And once that's good, we'll put the set screws back, or the screws back in. Don't tighten up the first one too tight without tightening up this one. Kind of want to evenly tighten them up. Just go back and forth until they're both really tight. And there you have it. Now the trigger's been, we can go ahead, check the gun if it clears, and give it a nice pull. Feels great. All right, we'll go ahead and test the safety feature again. Trigger's not going. Pull the safety off. Fires perfectly. All right, there you have it, and that's the install for the M CARBO Savage Axis trigger, which is also compatible with the Axis 2 and the 110 models.